everyone. My name is Olutoyin Williams and I am a life and career coach based in Manchester, UK. I am creating this series of videos to document my journey because in the last couple of months, I have started to invest really heavily in my growth as an individual, in my growth as a coach. And I'm finding it very exciting and I would love to be able to document it so that I can look back and see how much I have grown, which I'm sure will be very exciting. And more importantly, so that someone else can listen in, watch, and see a bit of themselves in me, in my journey, and be more encouraged that, you know what, it's possible, and you're going to be successful. So I'm not going to sort of give you the whole backstory. That's not what this video is about. This video is about sharing here and now, but interspace between sharing here and now, I will tell you bits about my background. So it's going to be a fun ride. I'm excited to do this. So just a bit of a background. I have about 15 years experience in human resources. I am super excited about human resources and people development, being able to support people within the frame of organizations and achieving the organization's objective. However, over a year ago, my family and I moved to Manchester, UK, and it's been the beginning of a new chapter for me. Excitingly, I started to think, you know what, how about I start focusing on that thing I wanted to be after 40. And I remember way back putting it down on paper to say that at 40, I wanted to be running my own business and I wanted to be running it full-time, successfully and profitably. And I would say that I have partly achieved that in the sense that I had a business before coming into Nigeria whilst working in my 9 to 5, before coming from Nigeria, I beg your pardon, whilst working in my 9 to 5. But more importantly, how that leads to here is that now I am on that journey to being a successful and profitable career coach. Now, interestingly, I started to feel this, really burning desire sometime last year. I would say maybe about November last year, I was in a rut. I was in a really deep rut where I was just thinking to myself, how am I going to achieve what I wanted to achieve? I had books I wanted to write. I had this business I wanted to build, but I had moved countries into a new country and I was, feeling out of my space. I was feeling out of my depth, which happens when professionals move countries. And whilst I was working through all of that, I started to say, you know what, I'll focus on my personal development. And one book that set me out on this path was No Excuses by Brain Tracy. I listened to it on YouTube. I didn't have the time to read it. But oh my God, that was the beginning of my journey. And then I started to listen to people like Dennis Whitley as well, Psychology of Winning, and started looking into into the greats such as Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, and just understanding what it takes to shift into a new way of being. Anyway, long story short, so that would be November 2023. Sometime in 2024, I found an ad on LinkedIn about $1,000 grant for coaching. And I was like, hey, I have invested so much money in my development up until now. I do not have any more money, but I still need much more. So when I saw this grant, I read up about it and it turned out to be PQ. And God bless Coach Shazad for PQ and all of the wonderful people that made PQ what it is today. I fell in love with it, formed my pod with a couple of rock star ladies. And when we came to the end of that, I knew I needed to go deeper because by the time we were coming to the end of the program, I had my website up, I had my coaching services planned out, I had a few paying customers, but I wasn't satisfied. I knew I wanted to do more. I knew I wanted to go deeper. And I knew I definitely wasn't anywhere successful. I wasn't successful. I was making losses. And it took sitting with a very fantastic gentleman who, in fact, showed me that I was being irresponsible with how much I was charging for how much I was giving out. And that hit me really hard. That hit me hard because I was determined, I am still very determined to make a success out of coaching. But I wasn't going to be, that coach who was living hand to mouth. How was I going to do this? So by the time the positive By the time the PQ coach program ran to an end, it became like I had to make a decision. What was I going to do to go forward and how I was going to map that out. So interestingly, when the offer came to move on to PQ coach, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it right now. And then on one of the onboarding calls, and this is where it gets very interesting. On one of the onboarding calls, either the beginning of the program for PQ coach, or just about the 1-2 calls, just as we started off the program, Bill said something around, you know, the book by Rich Latvin, and he called the book The Prosperous Coach. Now, interestingly, I am one of those people who's always like super listening. That's the ice cream guy, by the way. I am super listening. I'm always super listening. Like, I'm super listening because I want to know, how did you do it? Who helped you? Who supported you? How did you come about this knowledge? What challenges did you face? And you know, people say a lot while saying something. Maybe something completely related or unrelated. They're just gonna drop a gem. And then when he said it, I was like, you know what, I need to buy that book. But then again, guess what? My saboteurs came for me. And I kept thinking all sorts. Eventually, I was like, you know what? I am sick and tired of knowing that I am playing well below my potentials, and I know that this is what I need to do. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go buy it. So I ordered the book, and I got the book over the weekend, and I started reading it. I'm gonna put up a picture of what I looked like when I started reading it. I started reading it October 1st, and I really wanted to just pen these things down, because I want to be looking at this video in 90 days, in 6 months, in 1 year, and I want to be amazed by the transformation that I would have transformed. Anyway, started reading it. Now, I am a kind of person who loves to write a lot. I love writing. I absolutely love writing. So got myself a brand new notebook, and of course the book, and I started reading it. And I probably read it for about an hour and a half, and I had so many aha moments. Let me just put it like that. So I've read chapter 1. I finished chapter 1 of the book. Here are my lines and all of that. But what gets interesting is, so for some reason, I don't know how I got led to it. Maybe it was in chapter 1. He then said something about the appendices, and I was like, ooh, what's in the appendices? And then I went to the appendices, and this book is out of this world. And in the appendices, there was something called Appendix 1, which is the Latin levels. I read that, and my heart almost stopped. My heart almost stopped because I could see bits and pieces of myself in the levels that Rich described. And I now could understand why I wasn't even consistently producing results. I'm not successful yet financially, but I am very successful mentally now with where I need to be. It showed me how much I need to grow as a person in order for me to be able to have a successful coaching business, which is my goal. And you know, interestingly, he said things about if you were a student coach, a beginner coach, a novice coach. And let me read out something to you that hit me. So on the student coach, he said, how to move to the next level: stop helping. Seek permission for every coaching conversation you have. I put a big question mark on that because I didn't understand. What did he mean by stop helping? What does that even mean? What does that mean? And I kept thinking to myself, what does that mean? Where can I find more information about that? Then he goes further to say how to remain in this level. And that is when he says that I don't understand the distinctions between coaching, consulting, and helping. I tell people what to do, and I try to solve their problems. I'm gonna get out of here. You're talking to me. You're talking to me. Like, do I even know the difference between coaching, consulting, and helping people? Now, again, the reason why I want to record this so badly is because I want to document how unknowing I am. Yeah. I want to document how unknowing I am. It is amazing how He described this, and I always feel like I need to help. I need to help. So I'm having these conversations. I'm not even asking permission. I'm like, I'm going to give you my advice. Here's some free advice for you. Here's some piece of unsolicited advice for you. How is anyone going to take me seriously and pay me what I deserve for serving them in that way? Now you see why I'm not making any money, right? Now, he then went on to talk about, and I think I just closed my paper for a bit. He then went on to talk about being a novice coach. That was amazing. Being a novice coach. So who's a novice coach? In fact, let me not go to novice coach. A beginner coach. A beginner coach is, I coach too few people. I coach only friends and family. I coach without permission. Me. I compare myself to more experienced coaching. Also me. I feel overwhelmed by what I believe I need to do, so I do nothing. Now, here is the backstory for you. Do you remember I said I met a really nice gentleman who showed me how irresponsible I was by not charging appropriately for my services? Now, interestingly, when I read this bit, I went to look for when I met this man. I met him on the 29th of August. That day that I met this man, and we had this conversation, I was practically out of my head, excited with the growth that I knew was in store for me, but I just need to get it. I just need to get to that point where I was getting this growth. I was out of my head excited, And then, guess what? 29th of August. Today is the 3rd. Is today the 3rd? I think today is 2nd or the 3rd of October. And I have still not done what I know that I need to do. Like, check it out. 29th of August, 29th of September is 1 full month. So I'm literally sitting on 1 full month and a couple of days into the advice that I had been given. And I have probably just done what? So full disclosure, what was the advice? So the advice was that he looked at my business model. He looked at the way I packaged up my services. And right there and there, we sat down, designed a new package, and I just needed to go and sell it. Please ask me how many of it I have sold, how many proposals I have sent out. I'll be honest. Go on, ask me. One. Literally just one proposal sent out. And guess what? That proposal has yielded an appointment for a meeting. Then you would say to me, so why haven't you sent out more? My saboteurs at work. And of course, me permitting my saboteurs to run the show. Why haven't I sent out more? So yesterday I got into this conversation with my husband, who is in business development for many, many years, by the way. And I said to him, you know what, babes, I need your help. Of course, we've talked about this many, many times. So I'm like, you know what, I need your help to be able to find this type of people in the UK. And I need to be able to speak to them or email them and talk to them about my business and what I can do. And he's like, oh, but we've talked about this many times. And I said, I know. So just bring me up to speed. What needs to be done? And then he shows me a tool. And right there and then we look at the tool. We look at the pros and cons of that tool. And we look at the pricing. And I'm like, you know what? I would get this tool. Now, mind you, maybe about 2 weeks ago, I said to myself, I need to be able to get a tool that would help me to reach more people. Do I need to sign up for LinkedIn Premium? Do I need to get a sales navigator? What do I need to do? And I was like, you know what? I'll speak to someone about it and I'll try and get email addresses from this tool by, registering from this tool and just emailing people our cold emails. So I knew that 2 weeks ago. And I said to someone, please help me get this. And the person got it for me, sent me an Excel of this data. And 2 weeks later, I still hadn't taken any action. So here I was last night, reading that bit about the novice coach who feels overwhelmed about everything they need to do and is so overwhelmed and not take any action. And I'm like, that's me. That's me. That's me again. I know what I need to do. So intellectually, I know what I need to do. But have I done it? No, I haven't done it. So back to my trusty notebook. I then wrote it down and said to myself that I'll read directly from here. It said, I feel like my time is heavily fragmented into low-level activities. I am not doing enough of the things that would move the needle forward for me. So I then made a list. I made a list of the 5 things that I think are my most impactful things to be done. When I started making this list, full disclosure, I started with this list. So I'm going to read this list to you. I said, to break the mold and take action by the 2nd of October, which is today, I will. Number 1, I wrote downgrade my chat GPT, move it to a company account, inform my, try and restructure my staffing, and then try and activate to start editing videos that I have done and all of that. Again, were those my most impactful actions? Of course not. Of course not. So I then wrote that. I said, can you imagine? I have still managed to avoid the most important task. So now I make a fresh list, starting with the first one. Number 1, sign up for Lucia. Number 2, send out 96 emails. Number 3, create content for LinkedIn. Number 4, read more of Prosperous Coach book. Number 5, review the material that I had been given to review by my publisher. Those 5 are my most impactful task. And somehow, when I started making the list, I started with the least important task. Like, how amazing am I? How amazing am I? And I honestly can't wait to look back a couple of months and see that I have overcome this amazing trait of mine where I start with the least important things. Like, how amazing is it? After all of those aha moments, you would have thought, you know what, I'm just going to go bam, straight to it. And no, I didn't. I started with the least important things. Now, that's not to say, see, trust me, I have a healthy sense of who I am. So I'm not putting myself down. I'm just showing you. That perhaps you're like me and you're putting yourself down. That's all right. No. It's not all right. Just understand where you are and where you're going. I'm happy to say that this is who I am now. That's all right for me to say that this is who I am now. But this is not who I'm going to be in 90 days. This is not who I'm going to be in 180 days. And this is hell not who I'm going to be 12 months from now. Definitely not. Anyway, so interesting and amazing. That has been my read. That's been my takeaways from chapter 1. The fact that I am definitely somewhere in between a student coach and a beginner coach. That's where I fall right now. What do I need to do? Very, 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 very clearly. I don't need to review my package anymore because we have reviewed it many times. So I'm not reviewing that anymore. I am going to sign up for the 2, which is called Lucia, by the way. And it allows me to send out 96 emails every day. So it's about 1,920 emails a month that you get being on that tool. Just targeting corporates. So that's what I'm going to do. And I was able to get those from yesterday, what I read yesterday. Now, interestingly, you might ask, what time is it right now? It's almost 6:30 in the evening, UK time. And if you were to ask me, so have you signed up for the tool? Have you sent out the 96 emails? No, I haven't. Aren't I amazing? I haven't. I'm being honest, I haven't. That's another story entirely. What have I been up to? I work, by the way, but that's another story entirely. But what's important is that, so whilst I was working and doing my school pickups during lunchtime today, I, just sort of thought, you know what, let me find this rich Latvin guy, Litvin guy on his social media, and let me see what's up with him. So I then found him on Instagram, listened to a couple of videos. I was like, okay, that sounds nice. Found him on YouTube, and I started listening to a couple of videos while, dropping off the kids and picking them up from school. And there was a particular video where he talked about the 90-day money game, where you would pick any number, any ridiculous amount of money. Obviously, it has to be something way out of norm. So if I said I wanted to make 500 pounds, I probably understand how to do that. And I probably have a client in the pipeline that would get me that. But if I said I wanted to make £50,000 or £100,000 in 90 days, I'd be like, okay, whoa, I do not know how I'm going to do that, but that sounds like a goal. So he then says, pick a number. So the game, you can find it on YouTube. It's pick a number and then multiply that number by 4, and that's the number of proposals you have to send out. So the focus is on the proposals you're sending. And I said to myself, that's exactly what I need to do. I need to gamify this. I don't know what it is. Maybe because it's so serious, it's money, I'm scared, I'm running wild, I don't know what to do. I am avoiding the task. I'm avoiding the task so badly. But you know what? I'm going to gamify this. So it sort of flows very nicely from my task from yesterday, which was to sign up for that tool. And that's the promise I'm making myself before nightfall today. So literally, as soon as I finish recording this video, I would just go ahead and sign up for the tool and send out those emails because the template is ready. That's the amazing thing. Like everything else is ready, just press send. And somehow I'm not able to do that. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to sign up for Lucia. We're going to send out 96 emails, and then I'm going to do that whole poster in the money game and just see how that goes. I'm excited about it. And then of course, later on tonight, I'm going to try and read chapter 2. And my hope is that I would be able to record a video for every chapter that I read. And just checking very quickly how many chapters is that now that I have picked that as a goal for myself. I think that's about a total of, whoa, that's a lot of chapters. Whoa. Okay, that's a total of 69 chapters. So we're gonna do 69 videos. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So first video done, and I've got 2 things to do. I'll report back on that in my second video, which I'll be reading chapter 2 today, and I'll be getting those to-dos from chapter 1 going. I am excited. If you're a coach, of course you'll be a coach to be watching this, because I would only sort of make this available to the cohort 19 coaching community in PQ Coach. I respect you. I respect your journey. I and only I know how much this is growing me, and I know you feel the same as well. You feel like you're growing. You feel like this is exactly what you need to be doing. I am loving this growth. I'm loving this process. I'm loving the fact that I am stretched. I'm loving the fact that I have to do these amazing things with my mind. And I'm loving the fact that I am going to create that life, that successful, profitable coaching business that I am going to have. I'm so excited about this journey, and I'm excited about your journey as well. Stay with me as I share my reviews of this book. But if there are any last words, it would be that this is the book that I needed to read. PQ Coach is the program I needed to be on. I feel so blessed that I am doing these things at this moment in time. I feel so blessed. I feel so blessed that I get the opportunity to do this. I get the opportunity to live my dreams, and I really hope that you feel like that as well. So till the next video, when I'll be, delving into chapter 2 and the insights that I have got from chapter 2, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to talking to you again through this video. All right, bye.